Good day, class. Today we will be discussing about pharmaceutical marketing and entrepreneurship, an essential aspect of pharmacy profession. Whether you plan to work in retail, hospital settings, or pharmaceutical companies, understanding marketing will help you navigate the industry effectively. Marketing isn't just about selling medicines, it's about ensuring the right drug reaches the right patient at the right time. We'll explore how drug companies analyze opportunities, target customers, develop strategies, and manage their products. By the end of this discussion, you will see how marketing shapes the pharmaceutical landscape, particularly here in the Philippines, where access to quality medicine is a key issue. So let's begin. Okay, before we proceed to the next slide, we've already discussed during our prelim the pharmaceutical marketing, the concept in pharmaceutical marketing, and healthcare business in the Philippines. In this midterm, we will cover the marketing management process, the four P's in marketing mix, and product life cycle. So in this discussion, we will focus on marketing management process. The marketing management process in the drug industry. When we think about marketing, we often picture advertisements and salespeople promoting a product. But in pharmaceuticals, marketing is much more than that. It plays a crucial role in ensuring that medicines reaches the right patient at the right time. So key concept, why is marketing important? Pharmaceutical companies don't just develop drugs and hope they sell. Instead, they need a structured approach to monitor the market, understand the demand, and adapt the changes. So this is specifically important because healthcare needs are constantly evolving. Let's take a real life example in the Philippine setting. So have you ever noticed how some medicines suddenly become more available during the flu season? That's because the pharmaceutical companies study the market trends and adjust their supply accordingly. Another example is how certain maintenance drugs or maintenance drugs for diabetes or hypertension are marketed differently, sometimes through physicians, sometimes directly to patients via educational campaigns. So marketing functions, what does marketing do? Marketing in pharma isn't just about selling, it's about ensuring the smooth flow of medicine from manufacturer to the patient. So this includes product distribution, making sure medicines are available in drugstores, hospitals, and even online platforms. Second is pricing strategy, ensuring affordability while maintaining profitability. Then finally is promotional activities, informing doctors and patients about the benefits of a drug. To sum it up, pharmaceutical marketing ensures that the right medicine reaches the right people at the right time. It helps companies stay competitive and, more importantly, improve patients' access to essential treatments. So let's move on the next slide. Now that we understand the importance of marketing, let's talk about the marketing management process in pharmaceutical industry. Marketing in pharma isn't just about selling medicines, so it's a strategic process that involves four key steps. These steps ensure that the right products reach the right people in most efficient way possible. So step one, this is analyzing market opportunities. So before we launch a new drug, companies must first study the market. Second is we select the target markets. So after understanding the market, the next step is to choose the right audience or the right patient. Not all medicines are meant for everyone. Step 3, is developing the marketing mix. So once the market is selected, companies created a strategy using the four P's of the market. So these are the product, price, place, and promotion. So for example, when a paracetamol become available in from powder form for kids, it was marketed as an easier alternative to syrups for parents. So step 4 is managing the marketing effort. So lastly, the companies monitor and adjust this strategy. So they are looking if their product selling well. Also, they also look or check on do customers prefer another brand or a doctor's prescribing it. So, for example, if a new cough syrup is not selling well, so marketing teams may conduct a feedback survey and adjust the product's packaging or pricing. So, next slide. Why is market analysis important? Think about it. Would you open a pharmacy in a rural area without first checking if there's enough demand? Would you introduce a new brand of paracetamol without knowing how people feel about the ones already available in the market? This is where the market research comes in. Companies need to understand what patients need, how they perceive different medicines, what influences their buying decisions. So, key market insights to analyze. To understand the market, we look at several factors. These are attitudes. So, what do people think about the product? Do they trust the generic medicines versus the branded ones? Next is perceptions. Do doctors and patients view a certain drugs as effective? Is it expensive or outdated? Next is feelings. So, does a medicine packaging or branding create a sense of trust? For example, a bottle that looks like sterile may be prepared over one that looks like old-fashioned. So, impressions. How do patients and healthcare providers remember a product? Some brands become household names like BioFlu, Alaxan, or Newset. Finally, the buying motivations. So why do people buy certain medicines? Is it doctor's recommendation, because of price, or brand familiarity? For example, many Filipinos prepared branded vitamins like Celine or Enervon because they trust them more than the cheaper alternatives. Understanding the internal and external environment. Aside from the customer behavior, companies must also monitor these factors that can affect the pharmaceutical business. External factors such as government regulatories, competitors' activities, and technological advancement can affect the pharmaceutical business or market. So pharmaceutical marketing starts with research. So without a clear understanding of market opportunities, even even the best medicines might fail to reach the peoples who need it most. In the previous slide, we discussed how businesses analyze customers' attitude, perception, and buying behaviors. But market is not just about understanding consumers. It's also about analyzing external factors that can influence the pharmaceutical industry. What is the external environment? The external environment refers to all the factors outside the company's control that can impact the marketing strategies. Understanding these factors help pharmaceutical businesses make informed decisions. So key external factors. First is socio-political, economic, technological, and cultural forces. These are broad influences that shape the entire healthcare and pharmaceutical industry. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, government policies like price control on medicine and vaccinations drives heavily influence the market. Economic factors like inflation can impact the medicine prices, making some brands more expensive and pushing customers toward generics. While technology, like the rise of online pharmacies like MedGrocer, Watson Online, generic as e-pharmacy, has changed how consumers buy medicines. Another external factors are competitors. So companies must analyze who their competitors are and how they are performing. Example, if Unilab launches a new multivitamins, how will brand like Centrum or Enervon respond? Competitors or competitions is first in the generic drug market, where brands like RightMed, Parex, Watson, generic fights for market shares. Another external factors are suppliers. Pharmaceutical companies rely on uh, raw material suppliers to manufacture medicines. If an ingredient such as paracetamol becomes scarce or low in supply, medicine production can slow down, leading to price increase or shortages. Global supply chain issues, like those seen during the pandemic, heavily affect the medicine availability. Another external factors are resellers. In the pharma industry, resellers includes drugstores such as Mercury Drug, Watson Generic, and South Star Drug, and hospital that distribute medicines. Companies must maintain good relationships with the sellers to ensure that the product gets a priority shelf space. Finally, the key external factors, of course, the public. This includes the government agency, example FDA, DOH, advocacy groups, and social media. If a medicine receives bad publicity, such as FDA warnings or safety issues or social media controversies, its can suddenly drop significantly. For example, the Dengvaxia vaccine controversy in the Philippines led to the public fear and lower trust in vaccination. So pharmaceutical marketing is not just about understanding consumer. It's about staying updated on external factors that can impact the business success. So companies must constantly monitor the regulations, competitors, suppliers, and public perceptions to adapt their strengths and strategies effectively. We've discussed how external factors like government regulations, competitors, and public perceptions affect pharmaceutical marketing. Now, let's shift our focus inward and explore how a company internal environment influences its marketing strategy. What is the internal environment? The internal environment consists of factors within the company's control. The impact, its ability to compete the pharmaceutical industry. So companies that effectively use their internal resources can turn challenges into strengths and stay ahead of competitors. So let's go through the key internal factors one by one. First is company's internal records. So business needs accurate data to make strategic decisions. Internal records include sales reports, inventory levels, and financial performance. Example, if a company noticed that sales of a maintenance drug for hypertension are declining in a specific region, they can investigate whether there's a supply issue or a competitor's new product or a shift in patient preferences. Another internal factors to look on is pharmaceutical marketing research. This refers to the studies conducted by the company to understand the market trends. It includes surveys, focus groups, and feedback collections from doctors, pharmacists, and patients. Example, before launching a new cough syrup, a company may survey a doctor or a pharmacist to determine which formulations and flavors patients prepare to buy. Marketing intelligence. So this involves collecting information about competitors and industry trends. Companies monitor what drugs are selling well, how other brands promote their products, and what new technologies are emerging. Example, if a competitor launches a new once daily diabetes medicine, a company may analyze whether they should develop a similar product or promote their existing alternative ones more aggressively. Finally, the internal factors or environments we need to check on is management information system in healthcare delivery. So management information system is a data-driven system that helps pharmaceutical companies make informed decisions. It integrates patient data, sales trends, and regulatory updates into a one platform for better planning. Example, a large pharmacy chain like Mercury Drug and Watson uses MIS to track which medicines are high demand in certain location and adjust their stocks accordingly. So why is internal environment important? So the pharmaceutical industry is highly competitive and constantly changing. Companies that analyze their internal data and research effectively can quickly respond to the market shifts. So instead of seeing threats as obstacles, successful companies turn them into opportunities by using their internal strengths. So a company internals record, research intelligence, and data system shapes its market strategies by leveraging these factors. Pharmaceutical companies can stay competitive, meet consumers' needs, and drive the business growth. So far, we talked about both internal and external factors that affect pharmaceutical marketing. Now, let's focus on why identifying market opportunities is critical for a company's success. So, in pharmaceutical industry, the market is constantly changing. Companies must stay ahead of trends, competitors, and consumer needs to survive. So, let's break down the key ideas from this slide. First, identifying the new market opportunities. Companies need to continuously look for opportunities to expand their existing products and services. This could mean introducing a new drug, expanding distribution channel, or repackaging or rebranding an old product. Example, during COVID-19 pandemic, companies that previously focused on pain relievers quickly expanded to produce alcohol, face masks, and immune-boosting vitamins. Second is gathering accurate market information. This is to make informed decisions. Pharmaceutical companies need data. So those data are data on customers. So what medicines do they prefer? What brands do they trust? Next data or information is about competitors. So how are other brands marketing their products? Next is distributors and dealers. So what pharmacies or hospitals should they partner with? Finally, the suppliers. Are raw materials readily available? So before launching a generic medicine, companies study what brands patients currently buy, what doctors prescribe, and if price-sensitive consumers will prepare a cheaper alternative. So another thing to check on is turning data into competitive advantage. So information is power, but raw data is useless unless companies know how to interpret those data and how to use it in your advantage. So the best companies use data-driven marketing strategies to stay ahead of the competition. So a company that understands the market can predict what medicine will be in demand in the future or adjust pricing strategies based on consumer behavior. then improve branding and product positioning to stand out from competitors. So example of this is Mercury Drug. Mercury Drug has remained the top pharmacy chain in the Philippines by consistently studying market trends, expanding locations, and adapting to consumers' preferences, like adding drive-through pharmacies and online delivery services. So, to succeed in pharmaceutical industries, companies must actively search for a new market opportunities, collect accurate information, and transform those data into strategic decision. So by doing this, they stay ahead of the competition, maintain growth, and search for their customers better. In the pharmaceutical industry, not all consumers have same needs. Some are looking for low-cost generics while others prefer branded. Some prioritize natural or herbal options while others seek prescription drugs recommended by doctors. So in this slide, uh, we need to take notes this key points. First is different pharmaceutical consumers has different needs. So many drug companies and drug stores or drug outlets are servicing different kinds of pharmaceutical consumers with too many kinds of needs and wants. Example of these segments are senior citizens who need medicine or maintenance medicines for hypertension or diabetes. Another group are young professionals who buy more on vitamins and supplements. Another group are parents who look for safe and effective pediatric medicines. Then another group are hospitals and clinics that require bulk supplies of antibiotics and injectables. So example of this is Mercury Drug and Watson. They don't sell the same mix of medicine in all their branches. So their products are tailored based on location. For example, Watson. In malls, they might focus more on OTC drugs, cosmetics, and vitamins, while their other branches, their hospital, they will they will focus more on prescription medicines. It's possible to serve all market segments equally. No, no company can meet all customers' needs at the same time. So resources like budget, production capacity, and distribution channels are limited. Companies must prioritize their target markets based on the profitability and demand. That is why some pharmaceutical brands focuses on specialized niche like generic pharmacy or generics pharmacy. They focus on affordable generic medicine. So why is target market selection important? So choosing the right target market allows companies to focus their market effort effectively. It prevents wastage of resources by ensuring medicines are developed and distributed where they are the most needed. So it helps differentiate a company from competitors. So selecting a target market is crucial decision in pharmaceutical marketing. Companies need to identify the right audience and align their products and services to meet the consumer needs efficiently. Pharmaceutical marketing strategies revolve around four key steps. First is demand measurement and forecasting. Second is market segmentation. Third is market targeting. And fourth is market positioning. One of the most important aspects in pharmaceutical marketing is ensuring that medicines are available when and where they are needed. But how do companies predict demand? That's where demand measurement and forecasting come in. So this process helps pharmaceutical companies estimate how much a product should be manufactured and distributed to avoid shortages or excess inventory. So first, Estimating market size and sales potential. The first step is to evaluate the total market size. This includes the current sales data, market growth trends, and potential new customers. Example, before launching a new diabetic drugs, a company studies how many Filipinos suffer from diabetes. So this data can be taken from DOH and then and how many currently use existing medications like metformin or insulin. So those are the data that a company need to check on. So this helps estimates potential sales and decide if it's worth it to enter this kind of market. So next is technology in demand forecasting. In today's digital world, companies don't just guess market demand. They use data analytics, artificial intelligence, and computer models to predict sales patterns. These tools analyze historical data, doctors' prescriptions, seasonal trends, and competitors' movements to make an accurate forecast. Example, during flu season, sales of Biogesic, Nusep, and Decogen increases. Then, AI can predict when and where demand will raise or rise, helping companies distribute product efficiently. So the third one is internal and external factors affecting forecasting. So pharmaceutical companies regularly update their forecasts based on internal and external factors such as internal factors, the production capacity, inventory levels, and marketing campaigns. The external factors are health trends, so more Filipinos taking multivitamins during COVID-19. Government regulations such as price cap on essential drugs, then economic conditions such as inflation affecting the medicine prices. So demand measurements and forecasting help pharmaceutical companies stay ahead by ensuring that they produce the right amount of medicine at the right time and place. So by using the market data, technology, and ongoing analysis, companies can maximize profits while ensuring patients get the medicine they need. So what is short-term forecasting? Short-term forecast helps companies plan their policies and adapt the current market development. This type of forecasting is typically done for a few months to a year and is highly reactive to changes in demand, regulations, or economic conditions. Example, if flu cases increases, companies may boost production of Biogesic, Nusep, and Decogen to meet the demand. Example of short-term forecasting in pharma is 1. Adjusting pharmaceutical schedule or production schedule. So companies can modify their production schedules to align with the market demands and regulatory updates. This includes the OTC, proprietary, and ethical drugs. Example, if a company expects increased demand for vitamins due to a health campaign, they might allocate more production resources to ascorbic acid plus zinc supplement. So another example is temporary or partial shutdown of R&D facilities. So companies sometimes pause or slow down research and development to focus on more immediate business needs. So this is often done when investing in expansion projects or shifting resources to a high demand products. Another example of short-term forecasting is workforce adjustment, such as laying off casuals or contractual workers. So if the market for a specific drug is declining, companies may reduce their workforce in the affected areas. So this is common in industries where demand is seasonal or fluctuates due to economic downturns. So why short-term forecasting is important? So it allows companies to respond quickly to market changes. So it helps minimize losses by adjusting production and staffing based on the real-time data. And it ensures that the companies don't overproduce or underproduce, uh, or prevent wastage or over stocking of the medicine. Another types of forecasting is budget forecast. Budget forecast consists of preparing an annual budget at the corporate or divisional or departmental level. Budget forecast considered as soul of such an attempt to carefully plan for the coming years. So example, working capital requirements, cash flow and fund flow statements, advertising, sales promos, and other promotional budgets are under budget forecasts. So another types of forecasting is long-term forecast. It covers relatively long period in the future, practically from 3 to 30 years. Example of this is plant capacity for expansion of a dynamic business such as nutritional foods, then diversification, product lines and businesses, and the need to replace the obsolete equipment. Market segmentation in pharma. What is market segmentation? Market segmentation divides a broad consumers market into smaller groups based on shared characteristics, allowing pharmaceutical companies to target the right consumers with the right products and market strategies. So, why market segmentation important? Consumers have different health needs, buying power, and preferences. Segmentations help tailor marketing strategies for different groups, and also it ensures medicines reach the right audience efficiently or right patient efficiently. So example, Watson markets collagen supplements to young professionals and maintenance medicine to older consumers. Types of market segmentation in pharma. First is demographic segmentation. This is based on age, sex, income, and education. Another is psycho psychographic segmentation. This is focuses on lifestyles, beliefs, and motivations. Example, herbal supplements user prefer Sambong or Lagundi other than synthetic medicine. Another segmentation is geographic segmentation. This is based on location, specific health needs. Example of this is Metro Manila stocks asthma meds due to pollution, while coastal areas stock sunburn relief products. So market segmentations helps pharmaceutical companies reach the right consumers efficiently, improving market effectiveness and healthcare accessibility. Types of pharmaceutical consumers. First is non-price conscious buyers or premium brands consumers. This type of consumers prioritize brand trust, efficacy, and quality over price. Example, choosing Biogesic over generic paracetamol or Augmentin over amoxicillin. Next type of consumers are price-conscious buyers. These are the buyers focuses on affordability and opt for lower cost alternatives. Example, buying Reichmed paracetamol instead of Biogesic or Watson generics instead of Celine. Other consumer preferences consider factors like efficacy, safety, taste, and packaging. Example, parents prefer Celine syrup for its child-friendly taste. Consumers choose Solmiox for non-drowsy formulation. So, market segmentation matters since customers marketing different consumer types. So it increases sales and customer satisfaction and help brands position themselves effectively. Remember the right meds promoting their services and medicines such as Parsamasa. So this campaign targets price sensitive consumers while example Beroka appeals to professionals seeking mental alertness. So understanding consumer preferences helps pharmaceutical companies develop, price, and market products effectively. Now, market segmentation is not a one-time process. It's a continuous effort where businesses analyze, adjust, and refine their strategies based on consumers' behavior, trends, and market conditions. So why do companies adjust their marketing strategies? So the healthcare market is always changing. New diseases emerge, customers' preferences shift, and government regulations evolve. Companies must continuously evaluate and refine their target markets to stay competitive. So market segmentation is an ongoing process. Drug companies and pharmacies must constantly refine their strategies to match the evolving consumer needs. So by continuously evaluating market attractiveness, repositioning their products, and adapting promotional efforts, businesses stay competitive and ensure medicines reach the right consumers efficiently. So what is market targeting? Market targeting is the process of selecting specific groups of consumers who are most likely to benefit from a product. In the pharmaceutical industry, this is done by matching drug formulations to the needs of different patient groups. So market targeting in pharmaceutical products, so different drug format for different consumers. Drug formulations are designed based on the needs of a specific market segments. Example, a drop dosage form. This is for infants and young children. Tablets and capsule format. So this is for older children, teens, and adults. So market target groups are the pediatric market. This is age 1 to 9 months old. Another group is adult markets. This is 13 years old and above. So adults can tolerate higher doses and prepare capsules or tablets for convenience. Some adults prefer chewable or dissolvable dosage forms for ease of use. Next is cosmetic products. This is for the consumers, uh, female markets, young adults, or 18 years old and above. For Unilab paracetamol tablets, this is for the generic conscious markets. What is market positioning? It's it's how a brand is perceived compared to competitors, creating a unique and memorable image in consumers' minds. A strong position gives a brand a competitive edge. Example, Mercury Drugs. Nakakasiguro gamot ay laging bago. Builds trust, while BDO, we find ways, highlight customer service. So, how pharma brands differentiate themselves? First is quality-based positioning, emphasizing safety, effectiveness, or medical endorsements. Example, Biogesics as the Ingat medicine, Neurobion as doctors recommended for nerve health. Another example is price-based positioning. This is competing through affordability. Example, Lightment, bawal ang mahal, appeals a budget-conscious consumers. Another example of this innovation-based positioning. This is highlighting a new or improved formulation. Example of this is Solmuk Advance, promotes dual action formulation, carbocysteine plus zinc. So another example is convenience-based positioning. focusing on accessibility and ease of purchase. Example, Mercury Drugs' extensive branches make it the go-to pharmacy. So, market positioning matters because it helps brands to stand out and build loyalty. Also, it helps to create a lasting consumer's impression. So, good example of this is Biogesic, synonymous with safety with their tagline Ingat, while Lightmed, synonymous with the affordability with the tagline of Bawal ang Mahal. So, a strong market position ensures consumers to remember their brand and products, boosting the trust and also the sales. So, Biogesic positioned themselves in the market as the world's safest pain reliever. The company first identifies the existing position of all the products and brands currently serving its target market segment. It figures out what consumers want to respect two major product attributes. So the company selects a position based on its product's ability to satisfy consumers better than competitors' products in terms of the safety of the medicine. The unique selling proposition makes a product stand out from competitors. It's the key message that companies communicate to customers shows why their product is a better choice. So, example of this unique selling proposition may be in form of ingredient, formulation, cost, technology, and inherent quality of product not present in the competitor's product. It basically answers the questions, what is your advantage when you compare to the other product or when you compare to the competitors. So these are the other concepts of market positioning. Market positioning is a complex set of consumers' perceptions, impressions, and feelings that they hold for the product compared with the competing products. Consumers organize products into categories. They position products in their minds. Positioning strategies, example on specific product attributes. Example, this is Enervon C tablets, where they emphasize the anti-stress formula aside from vitamin C. Another positioning strategies is on the needs they feel or benefits they offer. Example, Alaxan tablet, muscle relaxant for body aches. Another strategy is according to the usage of occasions. So, best example is Yakult, meaning drink Yakult every day para ang tiyan ay laging okay. So, next is for certain classes of users. Example, Selin Plus for growing kids immunity, or Neurobion for nerve health in seniors. So another strategy, positioning strategy is positioning directly against a competitor. So example, Lightman versus branded medicine. Bawal ang mahal. So number 6 is positioning away from competitors. Example of this brand are Lagundi Syrup or Ascof Lagundi. This competes against synthetic cough medicine by offering a natural remedy. So lastly is positioning across different product classes. So brand position themselves beyond their categories to appeal to a broader market. Example, Beroka, not just a vitamin but energy booster. Or Gatorade, more than just a sports drink. So choosing the right position in market is crucial in pharmaceutical and health brands. whether it's highlighting product attributes, targeting specific consumers, or competing directly. Successful positioning helps brands stand out and create loyal customers. We've discussed how companies position their products and compete in the market. But what happens when a company dominates a market and becomes the industry leader? A market leader is a firm with the largest market shares, meaning they have the most sales, strongest brand recognition, and often the most influence over pricing and industry trends. So in pharmacy industries, companies like Unilab, Mercury Drug, and multinational pharma firms often play the role of the market leader. What can a market leader do? Example, expand the total market. Instead of just fighting competitors, a market leader can grow the entire industry by attracting new users and encouraging more frequent usage. Example of this is Celine Vitamin C. They campaign encouraging the parents to start giving vitamins early to expand the children's vitamins market. Next is invest heavily to strengthen and defend market position. So market leaders spend more on research, branding, and promotions to stay ahead. Example is Biogesic runs consistent ads emphasizing trust and safety, keeping it ahead of other paracetamol brands. So another number three is lead in innovation and competitive value. So the leader sets industry trends by introducing new products, improved formulations, or better distribution system. Examples of this is Solmux Advance, introduced carbocysteine plus zinc, setting a new standard for cough medicine. Fourth is identify and counter potential threats. So market leaders monitor competitors closely and react to threats before they lose the market shares. So example of this is when Watson Generics entered the market, Mercury Drug strengthens its marketing to maintain dominance. So another example is when big pharma companies counter rising generics by highlighting their brand medicine, quality, and research backing. So fifth is launching of new product to strike down competitors. So they stay dominant. Market leaders regularly introduce new product to compete directly with rising brands. So example, Neurobion launches a stronger B vitamin formulation to compete with the emerging nerve brand Clear. So market leadership is important because a strong market leader can shape industry trends and influence pricing. It ensures continuous product innovation and growth and creates higher brand trust and customer loyalty. So market challengers. So market challengers are runner-up companies that aggressively attack competitors to get more market shares. May attack a market leader, other firms its own size or smaller competitors. Strategies of market challengers may include the following: match its resources against competitors' weakness. Second is bypass the competitor and develop new product, new markets, or new technologies. If there's a market challengers, we also have market followers. Market followers are runner-up companies who choose to follow rather than challenge the market leader. They seek stable market shares and profit by simply following the competitor's product offer, prices, and marketing programs. Their goal is to keep current customers and attract a fair shares of new ones without drawing retaliation from market leader or companies. Finally, market niche. These are the smaller firms in market or even larger firms that lack established positions and specialize in serving market niches that major competitors overlook or ignore. This avoid direct confrontation with the major by specializing along market, consumer, product, or marketing mix lines. So the drug companies must choose its competitive marketing strategies based on its industry position and its strengths and weaknesses relative to the competition and continually change strategy in order to meet changes in the competitive situation. Thank you so much, and that's our discussion for today.